Remember, Iran has been under tremendous pressure lately, and things are likely to get worse with the United States preparing to reimpose sanctions next month. Against that backdrop, President Rouhani went after Trump Sunday in a speech to Iranian diplomats, saying, quote, "Mr. Trump, don't play with the lion's tail. This would only lead to regret. America should know that peace with Iran is the mother of all peace, and war with Iran is the mother of all wars." In response to that, President Trump delivered a Twitter threat in all caps, quote, to Iranian President Rouhani, "Never ever threaten the United States again, or you will suffer consequences, the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. We are no longer a country that will stand for your demented words of violence and death. Be cautious." Well, while that might seem a little over the top, here's the thing. It's not unusual at all. Remember, he threatened North Korea in the past, but this time the administration may be ready to do more than talk. At the same time, the president was tweeting, his Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, was giving a speech in California where he sent a message to the people inside Iran.
But the proud Iranian people are not staying silent about their government's many abuses. And the United States, under President Trump, will not stay silent either. In light of these protests and 40 years of regime tyranny, I have a message for the people of Iran. The United States hears you. The United States supports you. The United States is with you.
Iran's government says the U.S. is just trying to meddle in its affairs. But the truth is, Iran's leadership may be more vulnerable than it has been in quite some time. Iran's currency has collapsed and its unemployment rate has risen above 12%, all while the Iranian government spends billions in places like Syria. As a result, the country has been plagued with anti-government protests for many months. On Sunday, Pompeo stopped just short of calling for a full-blown revolution, but drew parallels to America's own experience with oppressive leaders.
When the United States sees the shoots of liberty pushing up through Iraqi soil, we pledge our solidarity, because we too took a hard first step towards becoming a free country a few years back. While it is ultimately up to the Iranian people to determine the direction of their country, the United States, in the spirit of our own freedoms, will support the long-ignored voice of the Iranian people.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.